Alright, if you've been following along with my latest videos, you know that I bought a big project car and it involved pulling a transmission, breaking it down, trying to fix it. And I happened to save a lot of money because I bought, incredibly, I bought a scrapped 4L60E on an aluminum pile for 30 bucks at a local scrapyard. And it had every part that I needed. It's really unbelievable how much money that $30 core saved me. But so I figured a good idea was to take some of that savings and sink it into some tools. It's a shelf. I think that's like a stabilizer too. It stabilizes the legs. And what's this? Well, that goes inside of it. Oh, okay. Now I did see somebody remove this, which is probably a good idea because it does. This thing doesn't really open that much. Before we go any further, probably not a good idea to run this thing dry, but I also don't want to do everything and then it not work. So we're just going to plug it in. All right, so I just touched it basically just to see if it turned on, and it did. So that's good. Need a pretty big Phillips and a 10 mil nut driver would be really good right now, but I don't have one. You know, like a manual one. This shelf, a little bit difficult to put in by yourself. You got to get your knee underneath here to hold it. And then put one in the corner and one in the corner. So once you got two in, it stays up. Oh, that thing just pops right open. Yeah, definitely not a fan of this. They got to get rid of this. Here's the hinge. Just took it off, and I put the cotter pan and stuff back in here so we don't lose it. And now, yeah, that's way better. Now there's a little spot here. I think we can assume. And there's a little rubber O-ring on this. Make sure that thing is still on there. I think that's all right. And that's it. Well, that thing is pretty cool. We're going to start getting this parts cleaner up and running. It's been probably a week since I put it in this spot. There's a bunch of videos on what to use with this parts cleaner. Also, like upgrades you can do. I'm going to link to a video, a really good video. This guy is in love with parts cleaners. He really did a whole bunch of different things to this parts cleaner. Pretty cool stuff. I probably won't do any of it, but if you're interested in it, you should definitely check out that video. Tons of upgrades. He put a filter on this thing, and he put like a like a spigot at the bottom to drain it, like a petcock, and he put all kinds of stuff. It's really cool what he did. And he said to use the PSC 1000, which is like a non-water based parts cleaner. But I am not going to do that. I'm going to use this stuff. This is ZEP, this purple stuff, industrial. Purple degreaser. So this says it makes 125 gallons. I mean, it's a 5 gallons. It says it makes 125 gallons. Why don't they just say it makes infinite? I don't understand. I mean, we're 125. I'm not doing that. for sure. You need about 8 gallons to make this thing work. It's a 20-gallon parts washer, but you don't use 20 gallons. You only need about 8 gallons. So I'm thinking I use 2 gallons of this and 6 gallons of water. So let's put. You think they'd put? I mean, this thing's $50. They couldn't have put a couple little numbers on here. It says how many gallons? 5 gallons to here. Okay, 4 gallons, 3 gallons. I mean, just put a couple numbers on here. It's not gonna kill you. This has got to be 1. This has got to be 2. I'm assuming to the bottom of shop. Look at this nonsense I gotta do here because they can't put some numbers somewhere between shop and grease. Okay, so we got 2 gallons, or so we think. All right, this should do it right here. These vinyl gloves, they're very cheap, and if you can get them on without them ripping, they work. The problem is that they rip easily, and they rip when they're cold, so you want to keep them in a warm area. All right, we got our thing here. Let's just turn it on and let's see what happens. Button's over here. Well, it works. Let's get a part. This is a part that I am not using. It's from that 6-cylinder. It connects to the transfer case. You definitely got to be careful. There's no speed on this thing. Gotta be careful it doesn't hit you in the eyes. That's pretty dirty. Here is the output shaft that I think I'm going to use. This is from the scrapyard. With the brush, I mean, it's clean. Could it be faster? Yeah, it could be faster. One thing I would have liked to wash is in this thing I mean, but there's no way. That's the actual transmission case. You know, without the bell housing, but that's not going to work out. Maybe if I took this tray out. That's a good little test. First we'll try the bell housing, but right now I'm just cleaning some little parts. Alright, this is the real test. I'm going to get this thing out of here. Definitely got to be careful. You don't point that out of the thing. Oh, alright, look at that. A bell housing fits in here. That's pretty good. You know what I think a good test would be? Is if I took some actual degreaser from a can and sprayed it right on this spot. And let's see. So let's see what happens, right? Really didn't do much. Let's check. Oop, hello. Well, looks the same. All right, well this thing's doing good, and I would say that this degreaser isn't terrible. I mean, this stuff's not bad. I mean, it's not muriatic acid over here, but it's not bad. Yeah, I mean, look at that, and look at that, Jesus. I guess I could soak it. Maybe I should. Like, soak it overnight. Let it sit in there overnight, and let's see what happens in the morning. All right, let's see if we had any luck here just letting it sit overnight. Well, I can tell you for certain a lot of stuff came off of here. Can you see that? Yeah. Can you? Yeah, you can see that. There's a lot of grease here. This do something? This thing is mint. Oh man. I mean, you can see it right there. It just needs to be cleaned off. Well, you know what I mean. So I guess what I'll do is now, I mean, you can see the difference between, I guess I should leave it now like this. All right, let's clean some more parts. Sun shell. All right, well that definitely worked. Now, I gotta be honest with you, I don't really know what the protocol is on cleaning one of these planetaries. My move here is that I'm gonna clean this and then I'm gonna soak it in ATF, transmission fluid, and make sure all that transmission fluid is just in the pores of everything. But I do gotta clean this thing. Gotta get cleaned. And then obviously I'll use assembly lube, whatever they call it, that blue stuff. Oh, somebody made a comment, a really interesting comment, that these holes were for balancing. That's a really good point. That's looking real good. All right, happy about that. Okay, here's the front planetary. The only thing left is just this bell housing and the actual transmission case, which looked like this bell housing, honestly. All right, let's see what happens on this one tomorrow. Okay, everyone, I left this in overnight like this and overnight like this, and this thing is looking pretty good. I have to say, I would put this right back on the transmission right now. It's about 99% grease-free. This thing is good, and I believe it's because of the type of cleaner that I got here, meaning the letting it soak. The type of cleaner that I got here, I'm going to show you a close-up of the container. It feels like dishwashing detergent. When you run it through your fingers, it really feels like when you see those horrible commercials, those horrible Dawn commercials where they got the birds soaked in oil and stuff and they're cleaning them. This stuff is basically just cutting through the grease. And you don't have to, I mean, agitation works, but really just soaking it overnight. I mean, it took the grease right off. You could see it just swirling all around in the degreaser when I came in the morning. It's pretty good. I have to say, I like this, and I like the way it's working. And for the price, hard to beat. The thing makes 1 million gallons, right? And it was $45. So I'm going to stick with this. Now, there is one problem with it. And it's actually not really, well, it's a problem with all water-based, is that water freezes. So 2 nights ago, it got down to like -10 Fahrenheit, and it was probably 0 degrees in the shop. I came in the morning and this thing had a block of ice on top of it. Now, it's separated, meaning the degreaser didn't freeze. That's good, but all the water froze. So I had to pull out all the, it's amazing how clean this ice was because grease is not going to mix with it. I have to throw out the ice, and then we'll have to put back boiling water to melt all the slush that's still in there. You can't run slush through a pump. It's not going to work out. So that kind of shut down the video here. So we're pretty much done here. But all I have to do left is the transmission case. I'm feeling good though. The parts are looking good. All the ones that I wanted to clean are cleaned. I have the parts that I need to replace, like the gaskets and stuff. So we're looking good. I can put the thing back together. I can put, as long as I clean the transmission case, I can put the transmission back together. We obviously have still a lot more to do though with that GMC Sierra. If you don't know the video I'm talking about, you can check the description. But yeah, we got to do the fuel lines. We got to do the rear main seal. I've started those projects. Not going as planned, but we're going to get it done because it has to get done. And we'll get the transmission back together and we'll put it back in. Now, let's talk about my opinion on parts washers in general. Because I really can't talk to this one because I've only had it for a couple of weeks. But as far as parts washers are concerned, they're handy at the right price. I would not pay $500 for a parts washer. A 20-gallon parts washer like this cheap, no, do not spend $500. $125 plus degreaser, it's worth it. This thing is handy. I mean, it's just hanging out here in the corner. It's not a big deal. This one, I'll say this one is strong. I mean, I'm putting all my weight on it, right? And it's sturdy. It makes sure the bolts are all tight. This thing's pretty good. I mean, it is holding 10 gallons of fluid, which 10 gallons of water weighs 70 pounds. So I assume that stuff is probably a little bit heavier than water. So there might be 80, 90 pounds just in fluid here, which is that's something. So I think that it's pretty strong, and yeah, but don't spend a lot of money on these things. Buy it new. That's the next thing. Do not buy one of these things used. Don't say, oh, okay, it's $125 or something, but I could get it for $80 used. Don't do that. Do not do that. That's not worth it. This thing's got dirt and grime and grease, and it's going through a motor. It's not like a cement mixer where the motor is separate than the thing that you're actually, right? It's this thing, buy it new, you know exactly where it's been. It's put on the shelf. So that's my opinion on parts cleaner. They're handy. Don't spend too much money on them. So that's it. That's it. Man, we still have time to do, but we'll get there. All right, everyone. I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.